to open ArcMap, just type in ArcMap, not ArcGIS, because that's the name of all the programs. So you type in ArcMap, you open that. And then we will go to the Auckland GIS website to grab the data that you need to put into the ArcMap. So what you do is you just zoom into the area that you want to grab the data for, and you click the cube, and then you go to data extract, click that, and click accept. And then down here you have a window, and then you use this tool, which is the draw extract extent. GIS is like a geographic information system which is used to manipulate or like map out geographic information. So like primarily making maps. So you have good quality maps, not Google Maps, not screenshotting off Google Maps. Yeah, because that's what the last years people did, and then so don't do that. So what we do is you grab the raw data, and then you put it into the engine, and then that will allow you to. So the raw data will be the data they extract from the site. So you get things like stormwater, wastewater. So what the most important ones will be like the layers. They call layers. It's called the curb. You want the curb layer, the contours layer, CRS parcel, which is like the lots that the houses sit on. The contours are like the terrain. You'll also want building footprint. You also want building footprint. That's the actual footprint of the houses on top of the parcels. So with these 4 data layers selected, you go click the button, and then you highlight an area. So we just do new market. And just double click, and it should highlight it. After that, you export the selected layers. So you click this button, and then that will come up with a zip file that you download. And then press yes, and then just say this is desktop. Okay. And then what you want to do next is to extract the data. And I've made a pre-made folder because you always want to connect a folder to the ArcGIS program. So like all your files will be saved into that folder. So I'll connect it later, but right now I'll just extract everything into that folder. So you don't want the licensed PDF, so you don't need to extract that. So everything's in here now. What you want to do is you want to go to catalog on the right hand side, and then can you see this button, the connect the folder button? You click this button, and then you can try and find your folder. So the one I made was ArcMap tutorial, so I'm just going to map that to the program. And right now the shape files that I took from Auckland GIS will be in here. And to import these files, I simply drag them in. Drag it in from the folder. And then this is something, this is what you will get. So the red lines are the contours. And then right now you can just like deselect the layer so you won't see it. It makes it easier to work around. So right now, I'll do it later. Another source of data they can get is from the Auckland Geodata database. And to get that, you will need to map a drive. So what you do is you go to My Computer, and you go to the screen, and then you go to the top and click Map Network Drive. And then the database that you have to type in is geodata.auckland.ac.nz/gdh.
This gives you a lot more information than using Auckland Council GIS. So it gives you things like roads and trees and
Yeah, so this is like the whole database of the Auckland region. Hey, you cannot use this at home. You can use this at any university computer because the university is linked to the database. But sadly, this is not accessible at home.
yeah, you can't access
I
it in one of
don't think you would be able to, yeah.
because I think they're only on the computer system.
I've actually tried. You may be able to because you're connected to the Auckland the uni Wi-Fi.
You
So
might actually,
I'm not
if you're
too sure.
like signed into the library website, like you know how you can get into databases and stuff. Yeah, there should be a library link to this site if you log in through your account.
But primarily, like if you're using this at home, you'll use Auckland GIS because this is like the whole database. So
it's huge.
You wouldn't want to save that onto your computer either, because like each file will be like 30 gigs, 40 gigs. This is available for Mac, yeah. So like you'll have the Mac version. Oh wait, is there?
I don't have it.
You don't have it on
It's really
computer.
hard to get on.
Yep, it should be, yeah. Supported by Mac. So after you connect to that drive, you'll end up with this folder, which is the Geodata Auckland database. And the files that you want to grab from this folder will be like located in Auckland Council. Something else?
It is quite big though, so it does tend to lag.
So it's very slow.
Yeah, it's really slow. So you want to focus on just an area that you're working with because it does give you the entire.
I'll be teaching you guys how to like make the data smaller by clipping. So I'll teach you guys that later.
So yeah.
The data that you guys can find will be in the 2013, and this gives you the building footprints, gives you addresses.
We use 2013 because it's probably the most complete at the moment. 2014 is useful if you do have like recent developments, but I don't think it's completely like some places that are missing.
And the files in the 2013 folder are more up to date in terms of like the heights of the buildings.
Comprehensive.
Yeah. So 2014 data doesn't have those statistics inside yet.
Yeah.
So it's more better to use the 2013 data for those layers, so like the road and curb and the parcel data. If you want to do raster files, which I won't get into today, you'll be using the 2014 data set, I think. Which will be located the DEM, which is DEM rasters. And then you just drag this into Arc Map. And after that, you'll be using Arc Scene to 3D model the terrain and buildings. What was the photo one?
If you go back to 2013, you can also get really good aerial photography, so you don't have to screenshot off like Google Earth and stuff.
Urban aerial.
That's pretty lame.
Yeah.
Go back. It's in
Urban aerial, JPG.
Yeah. No, rural tiles. Go back. It should be in this one, and you should go on mosaics.
Oh, see.
And you would pick the Auckland rural mosaic _ RGB.
Which one though? ECW, ERS?
One of them.
Oh, I think it should be ECW. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, if you're working with a really small area, we would recommend just use Auckland Council. So for planners.
Yeah. If you guys want a 3D model, you will also be using this database. So I'll get into working with the data. So on the top, I'll make it smaller. So there'll be the toolbar here. This is the full extent. This button will allow you to just, so if I zoom right in, and I want to get out like really fast, I'll just click the zoom extend button or full extend button, and that will bring me back to where I can see everything. There are other tools such as like the information tool or identify tool, and then using this I can find out certain attributes of the data that I have. So for Auckland GIS, they have the area data, so of each shapefile, of each parcel. So if I want to know how big the area for this section is, I can just click that I button and click onto that parcel. It will give me the shape area. So that's kind of useful for finding out the FAR ratio, the floor area ratio, or land area. You guys, planners, will have to need to know that. Yeah. So what you can do is you can also change the colors of the shapefiles. And to do that, you have to just click the little box, little color box, and then you can change the fill color. So you can change it red. Oh, that's too bright. And then it works like layers. So like as in Photoshop or like InDesign or AutoCAD, you can put them above each other or beneath each other. So they can see that I have the building footprints on top of the parcels. And you can make them different colors, which will be useful in identifying or like showing or portraying what you want to show to the reader. In this program, you can also use the measure tool, because I know lots of architects use the Google Maps or Auckland GIS to measure, which is not that accurate. But on Auckland GIS, you can get right into there and connect to the edges of the shapefiles. So to do that, you go measure, and then you click the edge of a building front to another building front, and now you can double click. Now you can see that it's 162 meters for the building front, which is much more accurate than just measuring on Auckland GIS, which I've heard that lots of architects do, which is kind of cringy. Yeah. All right. Another tool that you'll be using a lot will be the selection tool. So this tool, and then by clicking the drop-down menu, you can select by different methods. So you can either select by a rectangle, but I think the most useful one will be select by lasso. So this will just be click and drag, and you can draw a lasso to select the files that you want. So that'll be really useful for you planners. Sometimes you would want to like copy a layer, a whole layer, or like a selection of the layer. So what I mean by that is that if I want to say I want to make this a different layer, so this part of the neighborhood, I would just select that whole neighborhood, and then I would right click the layer in the table of contents, and then go down to data, and this is export data. So this will make a new shapefile or layer. So you click that, and then you always want to browse to the connected folder, so everything will be saved together. And then you want to change this as a shapefile. So it's saved as a shapefile. You can see my existing shapefiles in my folder. Press save, and OK. And to add the exported data, I just press yes. And as you can see, so selection, they're the different colors. Oh. So you can see the different colors. For the planners, a very important thing that you will need to know is to make shapefiles. So that was exporting shapefiles. So copying existing shapefiles, but you want to make new shapefiles. So what you want to do is you want to go to catalog again, and then on your folder you want to right click your folder, and then you can go down to new, and this you can get a shapefile. So you click shapefile, and then what you want to do is decide what kind of shapefile you want to create. You can either create a point, and from that point you can create a buffer, which is like a catchment based. You can also input the number of meters the buffer is. So in this case, I'll be showing you guys a 400-meter buffer for your pitch sheds that you guys have to make. Like primarily, or most of your maps will need it. So description, this one, yeah, I'll do that. So I'll name this buffer point, and then for the description, this is like the coordinate system, the GPS coordinate system, and then for this, you'll be wanting to change it to the New Zealand Australian one.
So this will link to real life coordinates.
And then I think it's geographic, Australia and New Zealand, and then NZGD 2000. Okay, and then that's pretty much done. Press OK, and now you have a buffer point in your layers. Now next step is to edit that point, so you need to right click it again, and then go down to edit features, and then start editing. This will allow you to actually insert the shapefile into the map. So press continue. You'll come up with the create features window, and then you just click onto the feature that you want to edit. Click that. Go to the construction tools. You want a point, so you just click that, and then what you do is you just zoom in and then double click, and the point should be there. What you want to do now is stop editing, because you always want to stop editing after editing, because some processes will not work if you're in editing mode still. So you always want to stop editing. Yeah, save your edits. To create a shape file, or to create a polygon, we'll do a polygon first. So to create a polygon, you just go to the same thing, shape file, but right now it's polygon. And now you have a polygon in the layers. And now for the polygon, it'll be different. Then you can draw a rectangle, circle, ellipse. But normally we use just a polygon one, so we can manipulate the shape of the shape. So that will just be just do a big polygon. And then stop editing. So that's making the point, and that's making the polygon. So right now we'll just deselect that. And then I'm going to teach you guys how to make a buffer. So for buffer, you want to go to GR processing, and then you can see that there's a buffer tool. So in like this thing's called pedestrian catchment. So like you want to know that, or like planning theory suggests that a 5-minute catchment is the
a 5-minute walkable catchment is 400 meters radius. So you should be able to walk 400 meters in 5 minutes. So
they'll just give you like a reference point,
yes,
of how far you can walk.
So it'll give you an idea of what properties, what things can actually be reached within your catchment area of. So ideally, if you were to do a planning assignment, it's to do with like walkability and if you can actually get to things.
Yeah.
And it's really useful for, and you can also use it to identify like a neighborhood catchment, or like if you're doing something to do with ecology and figuring out like water catchments. Yeah.
So what you do is you click buffer. I'll come up with a window like this. What you want to select for input features, this is the layer that you want to use as you want to modify. So this will be buffer point. The output feature class is the shapefile that you get out of this. So you click the folder button, and then you want to save this again to your folder.
Make sure that you save in like one folder, or else you'll find that when you try to open up your files later on, they won't be.
And they're all missing.
Yeah.
So they save, yeah.
Open up again.
So you want to save to here, so let's call it 400-meter buffer. feature class is fine. Press save, and then you can have a linear unit.
So for this, you would put 400 meters.
So this is like the radius, so 400-meter radius, and then you click OK. And this should produce a buffer, but ArcMap is quite slow, so you have to be quite patient. There you go. And then what normally you do is you make the fill hollow. So the fill of the color, you make it see-through.
Because you don't really need to.
You don't really need to see what's inside. You want the boundary. So this will be no color, and then the outline color we'll just make it like a really bold color. So red, and then you want to make it dashed. Otherwise you'll be blocking like some parcels.
And it's theoretical, so it should be dotted.
So we go edit symbol, and then you go to outline, and then you scroll all the way down to, you can use any one of these. So I usually use 6 by 6, and then I change it to red, 3-point width. Press OK, OK again, and again, and that should make a buffer. So theoretically, from this point, from this building, you can walk to here in 5 minutes.
Ideally.
Yep. Okay, next step will be clipping data. So that is making another shapefile in the area that you want. So you can, so in this case, I will clip the data inside the circle. That will make a new shapefile of a particular layer in that circle. So for example, I want to clip the building footprint. So as you can see, it exceeds the 400-meter boundary. So I want the data only inside that circle. What I do is I go geoprocessing. I'll just take this off first. Geoprocessing, clip. So I'm working with the footprint data. So this is the data that I want to clip. So I go building footprint, and this is the reference. So the reference will be the 400-meter buffer, which provides a boundary.
So
like that.
Think of it like a cookie cutter. It cuts everything out of the shape.
And then as you can see, the color changes, so you can see what's inside. And this is useful for like focusing on what you want to show the reader. So what you could do is like you can make this a very light transparent gray, and this can like be a darker color, which will like make the reader focus on it more like immediately.
So in relation to like planning context, if you were, everything in that circle is walkable, right? You can reach it in 5 minutes, but obviously the things around it is still in space, right? It's still there. You can't just ignore it. So you'd keep it like a lot lighter, just to express that that's the contextual boundary.
Oh, somewhere. Okay, so I will just show you guys how you can manipulate the data to like make it more pop out. So what you can do for the footprints and parcels around, like outside of the circle, you can make them transparent. To do that, you have to right click the layer, go to properties, go to display, and then there's a transparency box. What you can do is just type in 50%, and then this will make it less subtle. So as you can, you can't really see on that, but it like makes it a bit lighter than the surrounding. And then you can also do the same for the footprint as well. So you make it gray, and then you go right click, properties, display, 70. And now it pops up more. For again, for the planners, you guys will also want to identify what type of buildings are inside that catchment. So the building typology. So for example, you have your apartment buildings, your single detached houses. You could also do it for land uses, so like your retail, commercial, community uses. Yeah. So right now I'll teach you guys how to color in the layer, pretty much, because like lots of first year, second years make the mistake of exporting and making a lot of layers and shapefiles over here. But what you can do is only just in one shapefile make a lot of categories to make it easier to organize. Yeah. So right now I will go to footprint clip. What you want to do is you want to open the attribute table. This will show the attributes of the polygons inside. So as you can see, I can see all the areas of every polygon that's inside the circle. What you want to do is you want to make a new column. And this column will be used for your coloring in of like typologies. So we'll do a typology column. It will be add field. So go to this top left hand corner and click it and click add field. You come over this box. You can name it typologies. And you want to make it long integer because long integers can store more data than short integers. It's the primary benefit over it. As you can see now, we have a typology column. What you want to do next is you want to close this window. You want to right click again and go to properties. Then you want to go to symbology. When you go to symbology, you want to go to the left hand side and click categories in this window. And then this will give you the value categories of that shapefile. So as you can see, we've made a column, which is typologies. It's in the list. You click that because you're manipulating that data. And then what you want to do is add values. These numbers will correspond to a typology. So like, for example, if I want apartments and single detached houses, one will be number 1, one will be number 2. So
it's like coding.
Yeah.
Basically.
So you're assigning a number to a label. So in this case, we'll add 4 categories. So just type them in and then press OK. And then you get 4 categories. And then in the label section, you can rename the layers. So we go apartment, single detached, terraced, and courtyard. Press OK. And then what now you can do is you use the selection tool, which is over here. And then you want to go lasso, or in my case lasso. And then you can turn these off. Also, turning the layers off before you select will also help you a lot because it might get a bit messy. So you want to turn off your buffer and things you don't need. So let's say that these are terraced houses, just for example. And then that's number 3 on our list as the value of 3. So what you want to do is you want to go to right click, attribute table, scroll all the way to the right for typologies. You want to right click the heading and then you get fail calculator. You're going to click that, click yes, and then type in the number 3. Press OK. Right, you can see that it changed colors. You want to repeat this for as many buildings that you select and that you want to change the colors for. So I'll just do it quite quickly. Or another tip is holding shift while you select. So if I've selected this, right, and I click anywhere else, it deselects it. So what you want to do is hold shift. You can add them to your selection. So all right. Change color. So as you can see, we have 4 different types of typologies now. What you can do is put these, oh, not that, put these back on. Now that you have your typologies identified, you can go on to create a map. So when you want to create a map, you want to go to this little button over here. It's called Layout View. This is the window that it will take you to a window primarily for creating the map and laying it out. So in this window, you can insert things like the legend, the scale bar, the scale text, the title, the north arrow. These are all the things that you need on a map every single time you make a map. If you miss one of these things on your map, you'll get marked down. So you need every single one of these on your map. In this window, you can also change the scale of the view. So normally we use 1 to 5,000, right?
Well, depends what you're looking
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on the scale that you want.
So if you are looking at a 400-meter catchment, then yeah, 1 to 5,000 is probably appropriate.
The glove hand tool pan is used to like pan around the map inside your window, so you don't move the actual window. If I click the arrow and then move this, I can move it off the page. So we want to use the pan most of the time. To insert your north arrows and legends, you go to the insert button on the top toolbar. You want to go to north arrow, select the north arrow that you want. You don't have to be fancy, just select a simple arrow, and that will put an arrow onto your layout. What you do is you just make it bigger, and that's your north arrow. To insert your scale bar, click scale bar. All these what are they called? Just like the scale bar, north arrow, elements, the scale will change according to the scale that you put the view to. So it'll change automatically, so you don't have to like keep redoing it. Yeah. Oops. Scale bar. So what you do with scale bar, you want to go to properties because it's normally in miles because it's American. So change to meters. And okay. And then you have a scale bar.
You can also adjust what you want the values to be on by either making it longer or shorter.
So I can make it 30, 60, 120, multiples of 3, or I can...
So ideally you want it to be like 0 to 300 or 0 to 500 rather than awkward, weird values.
The next important thing is to insert the legend. The legend should always be enclosed. So I'll go with this first. This determines what you want to put inside the legend. So by clicking these arrows, you can move it right or left. So you can footprint, move it right. So what we need now is we want the buffer point, CRS parcel, building footprint, 400 meter buffer. Oh, we don't need this one. Oh, we do. Yep, that looks good. You want two columns. You want 2 columns just to make it more pretty, more nice to look at. Hit the next button. Legend is fine. A border, a background. So you put white as the background. If you don't put a background, it'll be see-through, and then it'll be harder to like look at, harder to read. Next. All right, and there's your legend. And then sometimes there are things that you don't want on the legend, like the all other values, stuff like that. I'm gonna go properties. You want to double click on it, and then go to items or layout. So go to items and then double click on the thing that you want to. So in this one, it will be footprint clip. Double click that. It'll come up with arrangement, and then you click general. What you don't want is the layer name because that's kind of like irrelevant to your map. So you want to take the layer name off, which would be footprint clip. So you take that off, and then you press OK, apply, and then that disappear, and then it should disappear. That's fine. And this one, you should
You could pop it up.
can. Can you?
Pretty sure you can. Otherwise, you can also manipulate these things later on in Illustrator.
I'm not too sure about the transparency, but if you want to make it hollow, you can also do hollow. Now you can see it, but it's quite hard to read, as you can see. So you always primarily want to use white. You also want a title, so hey, yeah, and this would be your map. I'm missing anything? Road names. I didn't. Oh, curb. Oh, to put the road names on, if your data has it inside its attributes, you can go to the curb, which it should have, and press label features. Then you can get the road names. Oh, in this case, it'll be curb edge because that's the only data it has. The geodata database will have the road names in it. So in this case, it's just showing the curb data.
But if you click on it when you get road names, you should be able to have, if you go label features, then it'll give you all the road names.
Take that off for now. And then to export this map, you want. Oh, that doesn't matter. This one? Focus data frame. Oh, I didn't know this. So to make sure you're on the right paper size, you want to click the change layout in the toolbar. So this button here. And then you can make it A0 to A5. So in this case, most likely always A4. Finish.
You'd have to do everything again. So make sure you do that step first.
Alright. The next step to export out, you go File, Export Map, and you want to export that as a PDF. So this is and now you can open it at what did I save it as? I'll save it again. And now it's a PDF which you can drag into Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, and then from there you can the legend disappeared because I clicked the change the paper size. Yeah, that's about it.